Welcome to the Blockchain Real Estate Podcast, sponsored by the Blockchain Real Estate Summit. Don't forget to mark your calendars for the Blockchain Real Estate Summit 2025, happening online from September 23rd through the 25th for our worldwide audience, with over 50 renowned real estate and blockchain experts and academics representing over 30 countries from around the world. Visit blockchainrealestatesummit.com for more information about the event and to subscribe to our newsletter for the latest updates on innovations in the blockchain and real estate sectors. That's blockchainrealestatesummit.com. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. It's Michael Flight again with the Blockchain Real Estate Summit podcast. We have another exciting episode here, and it's a little bit more on crypto and how you can get more easily into crypto. With that, I just wanted to remind everybody that you can purchase the 2024 Blockchain Real Estate Summit replay, 3 full days, and plus bonuses in that if you go to the blockchainrealestatesummit.com website. As always, none of this is financial advice. There is no legal advice. There is no accounting advice here. What we're doing is this is strictly education, and we're trying to educate people not only on investing in crypto, but investing in the new financial system, in blockchain, and also real world assets. But this, I have a special one because Kostas and I met, and Kostas is coming to us all the way from Greece, and Alex is coming to us all the way from Romania. But the really cool thing is Kostas lives on one of the most beautiful Greek islands in the world. And what does he do? He comes to the United States to visit me in Chicago and tells me that Chicago is a wonderful city. And I'm like, we'll just trade places for a little bit of time. So with that, I'd like you guys to introduce your protocol and your website and your app. It's called Valoro. And Kostas, give us a little bit of information about you, and then we'll get some biographical information on Alex.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, everyone. So to keep it, very simple right now, I wouldn't change place with Michael. I wouldn't pick Chicago. Let's clarify that. All right.
We already know he's a smart guy.
I mean, normally you miss what you don't have. So when someone comes to Chicago, of course, they're going to love it. They're going to want to stay there, but you never know. Let's see. So about Valor right now, or first, let's talk about me very fast. I have a bachelor's degree in mathematics. This is my hobby. This is what, I love from a kid. And I studied maths for that reason. And after that, I understood that many doors opened on my way. So after that, I took my master's degree in computer science, especially data science. And then at that point, I started loving blockchain. I took some courses about blockchain, about Ethereum. And then I realized that all this build-up of knowledge, of experience, of logic, mathematics at first, and then, applying it with these machines that we have nowadays, can create great things. And then I took a risk and I moved to blockchain full-time. And here I am right now. I'm going to explain a bit about Valoro. So one day, out of nowhere, Alex, the co-founder of... Sorry, Michael, yeah, please.
Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about how you met Alex, and then we'll hear a little bit
Exactly. Yeah, first of all, I want to mention that because Alex is a great guy and very talented. Out of nowhere, one day in a Telegram group with developers, like a technical group, he just mentioned something about an idea that he wants some help because he doesn't have much time to build it. And I had a bit of time at that point. So everything started out of nowhere. We talked, he shared the idea. I was fascinated about it. It was something that we kind of miss right now at this point of the blockchain. And out of nowhere, we started building it without any help, with our personal funds, with our personal time. And right now, we are still trying to get this, to skyrocket. We're trying to build it and even to improve it, even though it's the start and, things are difficult. So very fast, Valoro is like a simplified investment protocol for the crypto space and for users that don't want to spend too much time in research, struggling to understand where they're investing their money. So we try to simplify it to make it transparent, and very direct for the user to simply invest the money and see it grow, in simple words. Of course, I can tell much more, but I want to keep this simple because I guess the audience is going to be, normal people like,
and I'd
not
like
crypto people.
I'd
Yeah.
like to get more information from Alex on, his background and everything, but I would also like to describe, and this is probably not the most accurate, but you guys have basically created a crypto ETF so that people can buy an entire basket of crypto without having to do individual research on each little token, coin, or whatever. So with that, Alex, tell us a little bit about how you got into blockchain, to crypto, and what you're doing now.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for the invitation, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a senior software developer. I've been building mobile applications and web solutions for over 14 years now. I worked on really big enterprise applications that are used by millions of people, even right now, every day. And I've built payment solutions similar to Revolut, if you know the service.
Right.
I built point of sales applications for point of sale devices so that people can go into a store, buy something, and pay with cryptocurrency. All these solutions right now.
Oh, really? So the crypto can go right into the cash register, which is the point of sale, and then the store can get the money. Fantastic.
Yeah. It's the device is called PAX that I worked with. So it accepts credit cards, but it also accepts. It allows you to build apps on it, and the app that I built for one of my clients is a cryptocurrency app. So if the client just wants to pay for with cryptocurrency or even purchase cryptocurrency in the store, they can just do that with their wallet. Yeah, that's another
cool.
app. Yeah, it's really cool. I think I still have it here somewhere if you want to see it later. So I built a lot of payment solutions for many clients of mine, and I think I found about Bitcoin back in 2010, late 2010, and I obviously I did not buy any Bitcoins. I just mined some in the browser. And years later, I was so mad that I did not invest, and I started to buy some cryptocurrencies. And then a few years ago, I think it was 5 years, maybe, or 4 years, I found about a blockchain called Multiverse X, which is the blockchain where we build all of our applications. And I found the idea really interesting, the concept, and I loved it even more because it was built by a Romanian team. So I decided to invest a bit to buy a few coins, and then wanted to learn a new skill. I said to myself, okay, why not build a blockchain app so I can get familiar with it? And that's why in 2021, I think, I built my first blockchain application. It took me 2 weeks to build it, and I found a niche that was untapped on Multiverse X. People they did not have a way to trade tokens with one another. There was just one exchange at that time on Multiverse X, and that exchange, the main exchange that is active even right now, it only had support for 1 or 2 tokens, but obviously the community had created lots of tokens, times hundreds by the time. And they were struggling to trade those tokens. Sometimes someone wanted to sell one token and buy another from another person, and there were a lot of scams involved because you had to trust the person. You would send the token manually, and they would send it back. And that's why when I created my first blockchain app, it's still functioning. It's called ESDT Market, and I think in the first 2 months after launch, I reached a total number of 40,000 users. And the app processed over $5 million in user transaction in just 2 months after launch.
Well, I want to get to Valoro, but I need to back up and ask you a few questions. So number one, was that app an automatic market maker, or was it more of a bulletin board where people can, post there and do the exchange there?
Yeah, it was, and it still is an OTC exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would go there, you would post, let's say, an ad, and that, hey, I want to swap these tokens, and I want this payment, and
Right.
someone would come and just accept your trade.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it was not a decentralized exchange. It was not an AMM.
And so aside from Multiverse X, which originally started out as Elrond and it trades as eGold, aside from that being Romanian, why do you think that that's why you chose to build on the chain?
Yeah, I love what they are doing. They are building a lot, and I mean, they first of all is the speed, because I tried Ethereum before learning about Multiverse X, and when I was doing a transaction on Ethereum, it took minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. It was the norm, and also the fees were really high. So I was paying $20 just in blockchain fees. But on Multiverse X, every transaction is done in 6 seconds. They are working to reduce that time to 3 seconds now, and also the transaction cost is really low. It's I think it's $0.01 dollars per transaction, which is so little compared to $20 for a transaction, or even more.
Right. And my next question is Multiverse X EVM compatible, or is it a separate type of a blockchain?
It's a separate type of blockchain, but they recently introduced sovereign shards, a concept where you can actually build a chain that is EVM compatible, and we actually have quite a few teams that already started working on that. I think 1 or 2 teams are close to launching their sovereign chain based on top of Multiverse X, and that will be EVM compatible.
So is that like, I know Bitcoin, they have side chains, and I know Ethereum has layer 2. So is that similar to like a layer 2?
Not really, because on Multiverse X, the sovereign chains can communicate directly with the main chain.
Okay.
And that is something that makes everything really simple. So it's composable, so you can just migrate.
But somebody could build their own private blockchain, is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
And you could
Yeah,
limit
they
access.
could. And I think this is really interesting, even for government. If they want to build, let's say, a voting system, they can build a private blockchain with their own rules, if they wanted to, or institutions.
Oh, I think people like, especially, a lot of the other original OGs in blockchain say, well, it should be public, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't want on a public blockchain. So if you could do, even intra, company private blockchain in limit access, or for financial products, a lot of institutions can't do, something on a public blockchain because they don't know, who is actually, doing the transactions on the public blockchain. And so they could get fined a lot, or, investigated or kicked out of, whatever banking system they're in. So private blockchains do have a space in, with financial products, or you don't want people's, personal financial information out, sitting there on a public blockchain, even though you can do, um, zero knowledge proofs and things, but it's much better to, in some situations, to keep it private so that, you can control access, and, it's within regulations.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even with voting, you don't want everyone to see who you voted for, but at the same time, you want the transparency of the blockchain and the security to know that there was no election fraud or things like that.
I live in Cook County, Illinois, and it's known for a lot of dead people voting over the years. So I just accept election fraud as part of the deal. So, and the last time I voted, which was this, this November 4th, you're supposed to have a private vote, and then you're supposed to put it in the machine, and the guy takes my ballot and just starts looking at it. I'm like, I thought it was a private vote, so I'm like, I guess you're throwing out my vote if you saw who I voted for. So anyway, let's go on to talk about happier things like Valoro. So can you guys give us a little bit of information about what problem you're solving and why this application is so cool for novices in the crypto space?
Definitely. Yeah, so as Kostas mentioned, so I first built USDT market, and then I had a lot of other ideas. And of course, I could not build everything by myself, so I was looking for partners. And I had this great idea about an application that simplifies investment for retail people, retail investors, because the space is really big and it can deter the broad investor base from participating in the market. Also, the market saturation with thousands of tokens being created every month makes informed investment decisions really overwhelming for regular people that do not have a big, broad understanding of how things work. Also, the high volatility and improper diversification can lead to significant losses for many people. And so I had the solution to the idea to create index tokens that work in a similar way to traditional ETFs. So our application offers investment funds that bundle top performing crypto assets by we wanted to do it by industry at first, but we quickly realized that on Multiverse X Multiverse X is kind of small right now, and we did not have enough tokens. But when we will expand on the blockchain, we still want to do it by industry. So let's say that you are an investor and you want to invest, but you don't know what token to choose, but you think that in the next 5 years, gaming will play a big part in the space, and you can just go to our app and say, okay, I want to invest in gaming, and you will choose the gaming ETF in our app, and then you can just invest how much. I think it starts at $1. You can invest if you want, and we will automatically buy gaming tokens from you and put them in a basket. That's the first part. So that helps with the diversification. It protects a bit against the high volatility of a single project investment. And you will also have a managed crypto portfolio on our app. And if you want to go a bit further and you also want to save some money, we also have we will have saving portfolios. So you can put, let's say, $1,000 in your saving account, just the way you do it with your bank right now, and you can get up to 20% interest on those money, which is a lot more than you get with your traditional bank right now.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. So do you want to show us a little bit about how it works? And for right now, the ETF is basically, as you said, the top performing cryptos in the Multiverse X universe. And then the plan is eventually to start doing these ETF type products in other ecosystems. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we created some funds in the beginning for the top performing projects, but then we created some other smaller funds because the community wanted, just recently, that the community wanted a fund just for the meme tokens. So we also created one for those. But obviously, when we go a bit further and we open these to retail investors that do not know that much about the space, we will filter those investment opportunities for them based on the risk. So they will be able to choose, okay, so I'm comfortable with really low risk, medium risk, or I don't care. I show me the high risk ones. Yeah, so I think Kostas.
Yeah, I need to know what the most popular meme tokens are. So
yeah, I think that would be Bobber. Yeah, Kostas will show you how that works.
That's the $1 million question, actually. And if you know the answer, I'm happy to know about it. So let me share my screen really fast, so it's easier for everyone to understand. I hope you can see it right now, right?
Yes. Yes.
Let me know if you want me to zoom in a bit or if it's
This is,
readable.
can you give us the website again?
The website is, as you can see that up here, valoro.fund.
The Valaro.fund.
Yeah.
And for English speakers or people from Chicago, it would be Valero.fund. So
Yes, exactly. It's the same everywhere,
yes.
and we only support English right now. So I hope the guys interested in on this know English. So let's keep it simple right now. As you can see, this is what you see when you visit the page. What we do basically, the landing page, we try to make investing smart and easy for everyone. And as you go down there a bit, you can see that this app is, kind of new because we haven't had the opportunity to grow too much. We're still improving things. We're adding features, and you can see our investors right now. Even though the Multiverse X blockchain is very small, as Alex said earlier, we kind of improving constantly. And of course, we have more things that we can talk later, like achievements, like referral program. But let's go to the important stuff right now. So basically, when you launch the app, you can see the dashboard. Right now, I'm connected with a test wallet, so you can see some numbers here. For the people that are not familiar with Multiverse X, it might seem a bit strange right now because you need the wallet up here. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, you need your wallet here. So let's try to show once how
And
things are
actually,
from the start.
I've done MetaMask wallets. I've done other wallets,
Yeah,
and the Multiverse X wallet is actually very easy to set up. So
yeah. Exactly. Thanks for this. I wanted to mention this. So when you try to actually connect in the app to sign in, you can see all the options here, and these are basically the official ways to do it. The wallets, an extension for your browser, the Exportal mobile wallet, which is basically an application for the smartphones, both Android and iOS, and Ledger, of course. Everyone knows Ledger if you are in crypto, and some other ways. And of course, we have this method, which is basically Google login. It's very simple. It's those for those users that have no idea about crypto, about wallets, about whatever. So let me just show you how this works. If you just click this, you can just sign in with your Google account right here. It's called X Alias. I will sign in with my Google from another window right now.
And I'm going to interrupt you, Kostas, because
Yep.
this is such a big deal. One of the biggest
Yeah.
impediments for people getting into Web3 applications, blockchain applications, or crypto applications is setting up the wallet, setting up seed phrases, and everything. So if you can do it through an email, that's like a game changer.
Exactly. So just to explain it very fast, basically this X alias up here, it's the official way to do it. Supported by the Multiverse X blockchain and the team. So basically, you avoid all this, frustration. Like the wallet is created, you have the secret phrase saved in your Google account, your Drive, or wherever you want, and then you just connect with one tap with your Gmail account, and that's it. If I do connect, I have to approve it in another window, and I'm redirected to back to Valoro website. As you can see right now, I have a wallet. I had no idea about it, and I can do everything in here.
Okay.
As you said, Michael, yes, it's a breakthrough, but we're really trying to do it, even simpler right now. So let me move to my preferred way of doing it, and I will show you what is the simplest way that's we're trying to build right now. So I will use my wallet, the test wallet for now, which is this extension, so we can move forward. But what I wanted to say earlier is that we're planning to accelerate this with the buying of crypto, as you can see right now. So we have this button. You click it like buy crypto, and then you can just pay with your card. You
Okay.
put some euro here, Romanian currency, USD, whatever, and then you have your
This is
crypto
why
automatically.
Alex comes into play, because he knows how to do payment systems. So
Exactly.
perfect.
So basically, we want to improve this. It's live. You can do it. You can avoid everything right now with your Gmail account. You can just buy crypto with your card, and that's it. It's very fast. Of course, we want to improve it because right now you also need a bit of this currency. For those that don't know it, you need a small amount of the EGLD, which is the main cryptocurrency of this blockchain. So every transaction that needs to run, it needs a bit of this. We call it gas for those that
Yeah, but
are
it,
not
it
familiar.
needs
Yeah,
you basically need to pay a transaction fee, and that
exactly,
transaction fee is in the native currency of Multiverse X, which is
exactly,
Eagle. And what's the it's EGLD, correct?
exactly. Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
the next, yeah, please, Alex.
as Costa has mentioned, we will change this in the next few weeks, maybe a month. And Multiverse X has this concept of relayed transactions. So we will just pay the gas fees for all the people that use our app. So not even that they won't need a wallet anymore. They can just connect with their Google account, but we'll even pay the gas fee for them, so they don't need to have EGLD in their wallet.
Yeah, that's such a game changer, because that was the biggest problem with me, like even buying like an NFT or artwork online, and you got to go out and buy, in that case it was Ethereum, and you never knew, like, so I have a friend who's a money manager, and his entire fund is digital assets, and so he was gonna buy a NFT, to have in their offices. And the NFT was like $600, and the transaction fee in Ethereum was close to $400. So he's like, I'm not doing that. But the key thing is, it's even difficult to figure out, it's like, oh, so I have to go to this other thing to do this, so like if I were to go into a store and use my credit card, the credit card company, just automatically charges the transaction fee, so you're paying the transaction fee, but you don't see it. And in certain situations, in stores around here now, they're saying, well, if you're using a credit card, you're going to have to pay an extra 2.5%, 3%. So if you guys could just do like a transaction fee and say, this is what it's going to cost you're going to buy like let's say like $10 or $13. If the transaction fee is a certain percentage, then they just know it's like, okay, I have to pay a percentage, just to get into this fund as a transaction
Yeah,
fee.
yeah, and this is great because we can do it. We can cover this fee since we are in multiverse X blockchain and everything is very fast and very cheap. I mean,
Right,
the
right.
fees actually. So let me move forward here. Let's assume that we have everything done here. We buy very fast. As Alex said, in the next few weeks, this is going to be very easier. And we basically aim to onboard the Web 2 users, as we call them. So every normal person that wants to invest, actually. This is going to be very
I'm
fascinating
just going to
for us.
interrupt you again. I
Yeah.
don't think, and this is exactly what I was talking to with somebody just, with the meeting that I had before.
Mm-hmm.
This to me is revolutionary, because this is going to make it much easier. I was out at a crypto conference in Salt Lake City, and there were so many developers out there that did not care about how easy the thing was. So this is going to be revolutionary.
Exactly. And we think that's the trick actually of the success because nobody wants to know about the technical side of the blockchain, of the
Hmm.
investment, of the crypto native tokens. If this Bitcoin is a native token inside a very weird blockchain from the other side of the world, it doesn't matter. It has to be fast, simple, and very intuitive. And that's all. That's our goal right now.
Okay.
So I'm in the main dashboard of the web page actually, and you can see my investments. As I said, this is a test account. I mean, not my main one. And basically, when you enter the web page, firstly, you can see your portfolio in simple words, like what you have invested on, what are your shares, the shares of the funds you have invested. You can check the details, the dollar value of the shares, and your orders, the history of your orders. So if we move a bit closer into the investment funds we have right now, these are the ones, as Alex said earlier, we're trying to extend this list, but it's not very easy. We're still early in Multiverse X. There aren't so many tokens, and there's not so much liquidity. But basically, you can see that we try to differentiate the investment options for the user based on the purpose, and of the kind of every application. Firstly, we have the DeFi, which is basically the decentralized finance. So here we include the organizations, the teams that have been working, in a great way, and they are solid and trustworthy. And those are these three: the Hutton protocol, the ASWAP, and the exchange token. And basically, just to speed up things a bit, I will try to do a swap, a buy of shares right now. If you click on one of them, you can see that there's much details here. Like we show the overview, we show the price for one share. If you try to buy one share of this fund, you see this is the price, and of course, like the total amount of assets that are managed right now, you can check the price here. We have some history, and then you can read more information like what is the token identifier. That's more technical stuff. You can also check the smart contract. If you click here, you will open the explorer of the blockchain, and you can see in details the transactions. And of course, you can see the fee structure, which is the fees for the protocol, and then we will talk about the fund manager. But if you don't have any questions, Michael, let me try to do one transaction. One more thing, I want to show you also the fund holdings, because here we can show in a very simple way to the user that if they try to buy one share of this fund, the DeFi fund, basically what we do is that we split this investment, this amount, to these three tokens, and with these three percentages. This is the weight of the tokens right now.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Does the portfolio rebalance, or does if one of those grows exponentially?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a great question, because what we mean when we say we want to make this work easier for the user, this is one of the main tasks right now. Let's say that in the future, one project shows a great improvement, and the price is like doubled, or we have a huge increase in the price. We can basically rebalance the portfolio all at once for all the users. So this will benefit the users. They won't need to do research to follow this investment every day, to follow the progress of these projects every day. We do it in a transparent way, and we aim to improve it. We can talk a bit about it later. So this is activity. Let me just go very fast and show you how this works. Basically, right now we trade USDC, which is the cryptocurrency that is pegged to the dollar. So any user can buy using their dollars. And if we let's try, for example, I don't know, $20. I mean, in case you don't have USDC, we have this option in which you can swap EGLD to get USDC, but let's keep it more simple and less technical right now. So if I try to buy with $20 this share, I have to confirm to sign the transaction using my wallet. We can see down here that it's loading. It should be very fast, like less than 6 seconds, and that's it. I just bought. We can check the transaction, of course. This is not something I recommend to a normal user, but we can see it right now. for those that are interested in technical stuff.
I just want to point out that if you did this, and they're different type of blockchains, but if you did it on Bitcoin, it would take about 10 minutes for the transaction to clear. And if you did it on Ethereum, it'd take, probably, around 4 minutes to clear. So
exactly. It was very fast and also very cheap. As you can see right now. Sorry, Alex, you want to mention something?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that it was really fast, 6 seconds, and also the transaction fee was $0.07, and it was that high because here this is not a normal transaction where you send money to someone. We actually, if you look at the token operations, we perform 42 operations on the blockchain inside this transaction.
Okay.
Exactly. So basically, if you can see here, what this shows technically is that the $20 of the user comes in here, and we see all the operations, which are in total 42. We do all the swaps at once. We split this $20. We buy the other tokens, so we invest on them using those $20. And at the end, the user, this is my wallet, actually the user right now, receives back the amount of shares of this, let's say, ETF. And as Alex said, this is very cheap right now. You can see here the gas limit, and actually what we paid is 7 cents, which actually is already very cheaper on our side, on the works, but it's not live yet. We managed to reduce this about 30 to 40%. So you should expect almost half of it, like 3 or 4 cents, the cost for this investment that does all of it at once, 42 operations. So that's it, pretty much the workflow, and there you can see that now I have my shares. Of course, anytime that I see there's a growth, I have some whatever like profits. Let's say that I'm right now feeling very well about it. I made some profits. I can simply go here, sell it. This is the token, the share, and I can go all in 100%. And I have a few more, by the way. I just bought like 14 something.
If somebody sold the token, where would that token be sold to? Would that be sold to, a market, or is it?
Exactly. Yeah, in the decentralized exchange, because we right now use the most well-known decentralized exchange in MultiverseX, which is the official one, backed up by the MultiverseX team, and we basically sell and buy those tokens over there. But we're also planning to add more decentralized exchanges, to add more options to try to get even better rates for the user.
Right.
And since you asked, let me show you that. Let's try again to sell an amount of my shares. We can see the amount that I'm about to get back in my wallet, and then I have to sign it again in another window. And as you can see, very fast. Okay, this time took a bit longer. And it's done. You can see I transferred my shares here. The smart contracts did all the work, all the operations, all the swaps back to the dollars, and then the dollars are back to my wallet. I actually even made some profit, probably a few cents. And again, the cost is very small. The time is very, very fast, and that's it. This is the main workflow right now. So, Michael, I'm happy to answer any questions or any comments if you have.
I don't really have a lot of questions. So right now, how many different options are there to invest?
All right. As you can see right now, we have these funds created. Those are created by us. We make research. We filter the tokens that have enough liquidity in the decentralized exchange, because as you may know, people create tokens and they are scams and they try to rug pull, to steal the money of the users. So most of them right now are fully safe, are well-known projects, and those are the options. We have, of course, the safe one, which is we call it path to heaven because basically includes the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and the native token, the EGLD. So this
Oh
is
wow!
the
So
less riskiest.
somebody could get in exposure to Ethereum, Bitcoin,
Yes.
and Multiverse X.
Exactly, those are wrapped tokens which have the exact same value with the actual Bitcoin because we don't have the Bitcoin cryptocurrency in Multiverse X, so we have a wrapped version of it, but it has the exact same price. So yes, anyone
Can you
can very
explain,
fast. Yeah,
for people that don't know what a wrapped coin is, what is that?
yeah. Basically, is it's a coin that represents another coin, and it's not built on the original, let's say, blockchain. So basically, someone who wants to use Bitcoin in Multiverse X blockchain, what they do is they create this wrapped version of it, and it has the exact same value with with the actual Bitcoin, which is from another blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain, actually. And then you can use it normally as any other token in this ecosystem. Of course, there are many more technical aspects, like how you uh, make sure that the price, will be always exactly pegged to the actual Bitcoin. There are bridges that are built for those stuff, and let's not hop into, too many details right now, technical stuff. And this is the fast explanation, so to say. And if anyone wants to invest on Ethereum or Bitcoin through our app, basically they do it like this, and we split the investment into those three tokens.
And
And
so
yeah,
the wrapped Bitcoin is like it functions similar to a synthetic, so that it just mirrors the the actual value of the Bitcoin or the Ethereum.
yeah, exactly. If we want to talk about its function, how it functions in this blockchain, it functions like any other, native asset in this blockchain.
Hmm.
So you can transfer it very fast and very cheap, not like the normal Bitcoin. But of course, this doesn't mean that you should worry about it because, as I said, it's pegged in a one-to-one way to the actual Bitcoin price. So yeah,
It's similar to like a Bitcoin money market or a Bitcoin ETF on Elrond or on Multiverse X.
yeah, I wouldn't use the term ETF, but
Okay.
we can see
I,
it
I
like this.
I understand
But
it's not one to one, but it's a derivative. So you're actually
yeah,
just
exactly.
creating a
So
derivative.
the money market is is responsible for this. Actually, Valoro doesn't have any responsibility on this. Doesn't
Right.
affect this wrapped version of Bitcoin. It's created and supported in the whole ecosystem, the whole
Yeah, I'm
blockchain
just
here.
trying to find
Yeah,
words to describe it for somebody because in crypto there's so many different like technical words. And if you could just abstract a lot of those away, including like having a brighter screen and
yeah,
some of the nobody cares what the smart contract does. I know you guys do, and it's
yeah,
great that you're showing it, but
yeah.
I don't care what the smart contract does. I just want to, like, when I hit send on my email, I want to make sure my email goes to Alex. That's, I don't
Exactly,
need to know SMT protocol or TCP/IP or anything like that.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I agree. And this might be true for 90% of the people, but for transparency purposes, we put the information out there. If someone wants to check what we actually do when someone
I,
buys a share, then they can do it.
and I love that you guys, have that there to say, this is exactly the calculations, in every transaction that went through. So I love that you guys
Yeah,
do that. I think though that, at some point, most people don't care, but it's great that, they can go back, if it's like, hey, I need to verify this, and they can go back and verify it.
exactly. And as you can see right now, I just click on the smart contract for the technical people. They can see the smart contract here. They can see the branding from our side. They can see that here the smart contract indeed holds all those tokens and the value that we just saw in the app. And of course, we plan to make them all open source in the next following weeks after we complete the next features. So these smart contracts at some point will be open source and also audited. We hope for this. It's about funding after all, and then it will be 100% safe even for those that are
Well,
really
nothing
scared.
is ever 100% safe, but it will be verifiable.
Yeah,
You can
exactly. Yeah.
take a look at
I
it.
mean,
See that you
I
guys
mean,
have done
yeah.
extensive work to make it, as safe an experience as possible.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, from the side of Valoro, I mean, safe and secure and transparent, because if something happens to the whole blockchain or to the projects that build, the products like using these tokens, then Valoro is not responsible for this. But this is like an advantage for a normal investor and someone that invests their money using Valoro, because let's assume that something really bad happens to one of these three projects with this token. We are here to very fast act and swap those tokens and save as much as we can in order to balance this loss somehow, since after all the investment of the user will be the average of all those investments here from all the
Right,
tokens.
but
So they
even
will,
if
yeah,
one token went really bad, that would be bad, but it would not you would not lose 100% because you've got the other
exactly.
tokens in the
Yeah,
coin.
that's the one way to see it. And of course the other one that I just said, that even this is going to distraction, we can still save it earlier than reaching
Right,
that point.
right.
Yeah.
And do you do that through code and stop loss?
We haven't automated yet this procedure. Yeah, we're trying to prioritize the tasks right now because
Okay,
there are too many.
okay.
Yeah, right now it's done manually, but we are about to automate a lot of operations here. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. That is all the questions I had. Do you guys have anything else that you think our audience might find valuable?
Alex, if you have something in mind, let me know so I can share and you can talk about it. But as far as I know, those are the important stuff, plus the profile for the user and the referral program, which anyone can use. They can use their link to bring people into this investment protocol, and they can earn from our earnings, to put it simply.
Very nice.
Yeah, maybe one question that I wanted to, no, not question, one thing that I wanted to mention is if you go back to one of the funds, Kostas,
Yep.
we currently show two fees there, and I wanted to explain a bit what that means. So we have the protocol fees, which go to us, and there's also fund manager fees, and we see that all the funds have 0% for those fees. Those will come in when Valoro will allow other people to create their. So if you want, Michael, if you have experience with investing, you can become a fund manager and you can create your fund inside Valoro and choose your own tokens, and you can manage that fund with the tools that we provide. You will have tools for fund rebalancing. You will be able to add new tokens to it, to remove a token, to do some swaps. So we will offer you all those tools if you want to become a fund manager, and you will also be able to set your fee that you want to get when someone invests in your fund, and that's what that fund manager fee is for. For the time when we launch this feature to allow other people to leverage the opportunity and to craft and oversee custom investment portfolios and even other investment options in the future.
So when I launch my real estate, real world asset ETF, I can come to you guys and try and list it here.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
Of course.
Yeah, for so long we wanted a real world asset fund on Multiverse X, but unfortunately there are not that many projects that do that, and that's why we are waiting a bit more until we expand to other blockchains and we can include tokens from there too. But yeah, please do
with
create
the
it.
Blockchain Real Estate Summit, providing the education, and they are coming this year. Most of the real world assets were tokenized treasury bonds, but and we are personally involved with a number of real estate assets, especially a phenomenal one that I'm really excited about, which is a golf resort in Tuscany, and another one that is a winery and resort down in Uruguay. But there are really quality assets, coming online, and you'll be able to choose more and more of those. So,
Yeah, that's
Cool.
that's
That's
awesome.
cool.
I also know a few of projects that are doing really great things in this direction. They buy, I think, houses in the US, and they tokenize those houses, and you can buy their token, and you have
is
a
that
tokenized version
realty?
of a house. No, it's land share.
Land share? Okay,
Yeah.
I've never heard of them. I'll have to take a look at them. I try to stay away from houses. My entire career has been in commercial real estate.
So yeah, it would be our pleasure to have a bucket, let's say, from you, Michael, here with your, real estate tokens.
All right.
Um,
Well, gentlemen, I think we're ready to wrap this up. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, or, learn more about, or go to the website, can you spell out the website as to how people can get to Valoro.fund?
Sure, yeah, it's Valoro with, VALORO.fund, and they can just check the webpage, they can read our docs, they can contact us mainly using Telegram and or our email, of course, and we are we're willing to help them, answering questions, help them, in the onboarding phase of this. And we will let everyone know about the next features that we're about to launch, which, as we said earlier, we are fascinated about them, and we can't wait.
Perfect.
That's all from my side. I don't know, Alex, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I think we also have links for the Twitter page and the Telegram channel.
Yeah.
If you scroll a bit down on the website, on the main page, there are links to contact us. Yeah, here.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time today, guys. Everybody check out Valoro.fund, and we will have the entire description in the show notes, and how to get a hold of Kostas and Alex, and any of the social media that Valoro has out there, so that if you're very interested in it, you can shout out about how cool this protocol is. As always, this is Michael Flight with the Blockchain Real Estate Summit. Go on and check out our website, blockchainrealestatesummit.com. We have the 2024 Blockchain Real Estate Summit replay available. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is not accounting advice. This is not legal advice. You should always check with your advisors, or check with somebody that you trust before you invest any money, or if you buy any tokens or anything like that. So with that, thank you, everybody. Appreciate your listening, and I appreciate Kostas and Alex here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blockchain Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by the Blockchain Real Estate Summit. Don't forget to mark your calendars for the Blockchain Real Estate Summit 2025, happening September 23rd to the 25th, online for our global audience. Secure your tickets today at blockchainrealestatesummit.com/registration. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow the Blockchain Real Estate Podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Your feedback helps boost our visibility and allows us to reach more listeners like you. Have a guest in mind you'd like us to interview? Let us know by leaving a comment at blockchainrealestatesummit.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you at the summit.
Adam Carswell, the voice of liberty. This podcast is solely intended for informational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to provide tax, legal, investment, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, legal, accounting, or investment advisors before engaging in any transaction or undertaking. Thank you for listening to the Blockchain Real Estate Podcast, which is a part of the Blockchain Real Estate Summit Network. Go to blockchainrealestatesummit.com for more information, free reports, and giveaways with free stuff. Thank you.